This is the Stormy Willow podcast, a lighthearted, balanced examination of the paranormal.
Recording from our studios in Rock Hill, South Carolina, and Albuquerque, New Mexico, we are Sarah and Adele here, your host of the Stormy Willow podcast. Welcome, Brood. Hello, Adele.
Come on down.
Hey, guys.
Hi. Happy Independence Day.
Yes.
Celebrations still going on here with all the fireworks.
Yep. All month long with the fireworks.
All summer.
All freaking summer. It's like in our town, they weren't going to do fireworks this year. They were going to do confetti. Whatever.
How is that even similar?
I don't know. But there was such an uproar, you guys. There was such an uproar that the citizens of Rock Hill made sure they got their fireworks back, damn it. They were not going to celebrate Independence Day without the fireworks. Take away the damn fireworks on the 4th. They're going to get stuff done.
They're going to get another revolution.
A whole nother revolution was about to start. Like, no fireworks on the 4th? I can't.
Oh, gosh. So the fastest way to incite a riot is...
Take away somebody's
fireworks
in the South. See what happens. It will get changed. But I want to know, like, what did it? Like, you know, so I'm like, I need to learn from them.
Now I'm kind of suspicious that maybe they were just being dramatic all along. Like, just kidding.
We're not going to take your fireworks away. We just wanted to see how far we could go. It's like, I can take a lot of things, but no fireworks.
Can't even have my goddamn sparklers.
I'm like, what do my tax dollars go for? I paid for that fireworks show, damn it.
I pay for the fire department to make sure nothing catches on fire from it.
That's right.
That's literally watching my tax dollars at work on our nation's birthday.
That's right. So, yeah, I mean, so power to the people.
Yeah. Bunch of pyromaniacs.
Yep, exactly. And speaking of maniacs, I got a crazy news story for you guys.
Oh, really?
But our friends over at Hobby Lobby, they're really stressed out right now because an AI artist created satanic panic about Hobby Lobby. And they are losing their fucking shit.
Okay, let's hear about this.
All right. So, people on social media are sharing pictures of what they think are satanic seeming displays from our friends at the good old Christian Hobby Lobby stores. Now, if you go on, this article is from Vice.com, and if you go on there, you know, like they have like their little stuff that says like, Lord bless this mess, and you know, all the stuff that they have. And there's this picture of like this really cool looking demon. Just like right there with like, it looks like a guardian angel demon with like antlers. It's pretty badass. And it's like they've just got the AI just like, you know, just like the little statue and some more little demons just sitting there on the shelves. And social media goes wild. So the pictures of the satanic merchandise were made by Jennifer Vineyard, used AI image as a generating tool called Midjourney. And she she puts this up, right, like as a joke, like she puts up this demon, and it looks like he's sitting on the shelf at Hobby Lobby. And I'm going to tell you, people on Facebook and TikTok were just in shock and horror that Hobby Lobby, who, you know, tells everyone that they're such a Christian company, that they would sell such horrible merchandise. So Vineyard, an Austin area pharmacy tech, generated the pictures with Midjourney and posted them on her personal Facebook, Reddit, and an AI art group on Facebook on June 5th. And the public post in AI Art Universe went viral. And as of this article, it had been shared more than 6,000 times, and it gained more than 100 comments before the page was shut down. So reactions ran the gamut. Some immediately realized, oh, this is AI, while others actually said that they were going to go out to Hobby Lobby to pick up some demon decor. And of course, our Christian friends, expressed fear and disappointment that their beloved craft store would do something like this. Well, I guess even Christian owned companies can be bought for the right price, one commentator said, severely disappointed. I think that is hilarious.
Some people just can't take a joke.
I mean, I wish they did sell demonic stuff because it looked really nice. I was like,
Yeah,
that's
right.
badass. I'm
Kind of
like,
missing some market opportunity there.
I was like, I would love to have two of those, like at like gargoyles as you enter my house. So maybe run to your Hobby Lobby and ask, hey, where's the demonic statues that I saw? Let's see what they say. So, always love to poke fun at our friends at Hobby Lobby.
Yeah. Just start like a
So
battle. Like, do you price match? Home Depot has these $15.99. How much do you guys have them for?
oh my God. Yeah. So I know how much you love Hobby Lobby. So I couldn't miss an opportunity to tell you that Satanic Panic has taken over at the Christian craft store.
The devil, he always gets you some way.
I tell you what, it's like, do you have to take crafts from us too? Oh, which makes me kind of think like the Satanic Temple should open up like their own like Hobby Lobby. Like that would be so fun.
That
Like
would be
D&D
pretty cool.
crafts and stuff. I'm just gonna put that out there. Satanic Temple, I would go there. I think it
You
would be
might
great.
have like, I don't know, like a clay studio in your basement.
Yeah, the Inferno.
That would be pretty cool.
I think it would be great. So speaking of an Inferno, if it's not hot enough where you live, I've got your forecast.
Oh, do we want to hear it?
Well, Adele, I tried to copy you like I always do because you're just so cool. But I could not get Chatbot to give me a really nice forecast the way you did it. So you guys are gonna have a boring forecast for me today. I'm so sorry. You have to
Womp,
wait
womp,
for
womp.
Adele's creativity next week. So, but I do have good news. Today's forecast is from our favorite sisters, Astro Twins, which we freaking love. And the forecast for the week comes from astrostyle.com. And this is your forecast from July 7th to July 13th. So we are in the middle of the summer, you guys. So let's kick it up as the Sun and Saturn team up to support heart-centered leadership on Wednesday, July 10th. You can get things done without being domineering, at least early this week. Wednesday's flowing Sun, Saturn trine and water signs calls for heart-centered leadership. Instead of stressing everyone out and barking out orders, guide from a place of calm. I like that.
Okay.
Demonstrate genuine care for others' concerns is the most potent path to establishing your authority and accomplishing your goals while making everyone feel that they are valued. We'll get down with that.
Okay.
So, feelings will crescendo toward passion on Thursday, just as Venus prepares to move into your sun sign, Leo, until August the 4th. Misty-eyed moments abound early Thursday as carrying Venus in its last hours in Cancer, that's me, and sensitive Neptune unite in emotional water signs. The compassionate connection can crumble the toughest walls between people, but it can also make you a little too impressionable. So strengthen your screening process to ensure that undeserving or deceptive people don't slip past the gates. If you're normally the stiff upper lip kind of person, this is a beautiful day to lower your guard and make genuine connections. So, I think that so far we're learning this week that we maybe need to be a little more gentle.
Yeah.
Okay. So Friday we'll have Venus Pluto opposition, and it could turn up some stormy interactions and expose secrets. Oh no. Pause before you pull the alarm. Venus is passionate. Leo opposes vengeful Pluto. You could overreact, to something that looks like a betrayal, while this cosmic mashup can aggravate trust issues, things may not be as they seem. So don't ignore the evidence of behavior that seems off, like a mystery text or maybe an open chat window, but start with a conversation before full-on snooping. Think detective, not FBI interrogation. If you're getting to know someone, pay attention to red flags and leave any situation where you feel unsafe or uncomfortable. Did someone's profile raise your suspicion on an app? Don't ignore your intuition. Report and block anyone who seems outright inappropriate. And I love that because I recently had some Facebook drama on my page with some haters that had some issues with transgender equality. And I had to really reclaim my space as a safe space. And so just remember that, your social space is an extension of you. And so you can demand, like, hey, we're not going to have that here, and shut it down. Just FYI, not that you didn't know that. I'm just, encouraging you just to say no. And then finally, we're going to make it to Saturday's waxing quarter moon in Libra, and it's going to light a path to peace. Finally, we could all use that, especially after the political climate has been so incredibly wild. Pause before. So I feel like this week is going to be a really good week to remember to be mindful and kind and not jump to conclusions, because sometimes, I think it's easy to just be like, oh shit, like I knew this person was going to do that, or, and sometimes things aren't always what they seem. And if something doesn't feel right, don't push it. If it doesn't feel right, doesn't sit right, just walk away.
Yeah.
So exactly. I don't think it's a bad forecast.
No, I don't think so. Yeah,
it's not as fun as you put out, but I read it directly from I took it directly from our Astro twins. So there you go. There you have it. Not a bad week.
Yeah, not too bad.
And before we get started, so I picked up some room spray while Mom and I were thrifting like we do, and this is called Sugar Pumpkin, and it smells like Halloween in a freaking spray bottle. So I'm gonna spray before you start your story.
Okay.
It just makes me feel good. And it's just so awesome. It's called Sugar Pumpkin, and it's just from a little local vendor, and I love it so much. It literally smells like Salem in a bottle.
Oh wow.
And I love it.
Like,
it makes me happy.
Candy corn sugar.
It does. And I hope you guys, if you follow us on social, you might notice this past week that some stuff's been happening. Adele and I are actually trying to get social. So make sure you give us a like or a comment. We would love to hear from you. We've been trying to also shout out some different activities going on, and our friends at the Mercantile that, Adele and I love so much in Rock Hill. They're having a Summerween that I'm going to be posting about in August. So it seems like Summerween is like really a thing this summer, and I just love it.
Yeah.
So we're not the only ones that want to, go from the 4th of July to Halloween, but pretty much we just do Halloween every day of the month. But
it seems like I'm even hearing on TikTok that the spooky crowd is officially this year being like, no, July 5th starts spooky season.
I've seen it too, and I'm here for it.
I don't know how I feel about that.
That's your birthday?
Well, no, it's too hot.
Yeah, it is hot.
Like, I don't know. I need a little bit of a chill in the air.
Well, what about could you do have you seen where they do the picnics? Like you can carve your watermelon like a pumpkin.
Well, yeah, it's still summery. It's like a summery Halloween twist. I'm cool with that. Yeah. I'm not ready to go full.
Well, you can't be wearing your Bigfoot sweater because you'll probably pass out.
Well, yeah, exactly.
But you could probably get you some little swimsuit or something that's got some cryptids on there. You can I posted this week, if you're in the Carolinas, I did not realize Lake Norman, which is north of where I am, has their own cryptid, Stormy Normie. And so they're going out and doing summer hunts for Stormy Normie. So still summery, a little spooky. I like it.
I just think you can have the spooky without the Halloween. I guess that's just being kind of gothic, I guess.
I mean, and pretty much that's how I'm trying to survive Christmas as well, because the Christmas season, I just cannot handle it. I think, and it's nothing like I'm not being like anti-Christian or anything. I just can't stand the goofiness of like spend the money, spend the money, spend the money, and just like it's like crammed down your throat 24/7. And I mean, so I like to, I'm
Yeah.
spending my Christmas in July with my Edward Scissorhands. I like more of that kind of vibe for Christmas.
Yeah, I get it.
It makes me like it a little better instead of like, I don't know. It's a lot. It's like in my face, and it just makes me like real anxious, like in the stores and stuff. I'm just like, oh God.
I guess it all comes down to the marketing capitalism of it all. I don't want
That's what,
Halloween to just become another Christmas of shoved down your throat. I want it to truly be organic and something that you just want to celebrate when you want to celebrate it.
there you go. I agree. Yeah, like the month of December, I'm just like, oh shit. I guess
Yeah,
it's just too much holly jolly. I just can't do it. Especially like, I'm doing the Monster Mash and the next day it's like Bing Crosby. Like it's just too
right, right.
much for
So it's
me.
just like, come on, maybe we can just get through the rest of summer with no
Yeah.
holidays.
Or, I don't know. I agree. But I am enjoying this whole movement and seeing all the pictures and all the things. So it's pretty
Yeah,
fun.
I'm pro celebrate what you want when you want.
I am too. I mean, being an American right now is hard enough. Like you
Yeah,
want to celebrate Christmas right now, you put up that tree.
you do
That's
it.
okay.
Just don't let the stupid stores lead it. Fuck them.
Yeah, you do it. You do it because you feel it in your heart, not because Hobby
You
Lobby
lead the
makes
way.
you.
Exactly.
That's right.
Like, don't let Hobby Lobby start pushing Halloween early like they're trying to do.
Yeah. Well, they got to get ready for Christmas. There's a lot.
Yeah, they're just like skedaddling us right
Yeah,
out
well,
of.
they got to make room for their demon merch. Adele,
Yeah, well,
gosh.
there we go. That's what it's really about. That's the agenda. That's Hobby Lobby's agenda.
Oh shit. No, Hobby Lobby. Our dad calls it Lobby Hobby, and he really thinks that's its name.
It does.
He loves that store.
Which I guess the way he says it barely makes more sense than the way it actually is.
He loves the Lobby Hobby.
Yeah. People for a hobby just building lobbies.
I mean, and it really isn't even a craft store, really. Like they have it's pretty much furniture now.
Isn't it more like just a crap store? Like it's just
It's
for
just
crap that you don't
yeah,
need.
it's tchotchkes. It's not really a whole lot of crafting. It's just
Like
a
you
lot of
don't even
stuff.
make the craft, so now it's just
You gotta
crap.
buy it. Yeah, exactly.
Uh, anyway, well,
Well, if you're listening today, you can't go there. It's Sunday. It's the Lord's Day, so it's not open.
damn it. I was gonna go buy a
You
demon.
gotta go shop with the heathens at Michael's.
The fun crowd. Okay. But well, I guess we can get on with the main story.
Listen,
Or we could continue
I
talking about lobby hobby all day.
I smell like I'm in a Lobby Hobby. No, I'm kidding. I smell like I'm in the Halloween section of Hobby Lobby. Let's go. I'm ready.
Yeah, so last time when I spun our wheel of topics, I landed on lore.
Yes, we haven't done war in a while, and typically that's a topic I land on. So I'm super pumped that you got it
Um,
this time.
and according to Yahoo, folklore experts now refer to folklore as contemporary legends.
Ooh, that's
So
fun name.
they made a little change on us to make them sound more sophisticated than they are.
The contemporary legend.
These
I
contemporary
feel like
legends.
that's a college course. I'm taking Contemporary Legends 101 this
I'm
fall.
a contemporary legends major.
I love that. That's what I'm gonna be when I grow up.
That's English we can all enjoy. Yes. If and I did put a clue on social media today. So,
You did?
I did. Yeah, I did. I posted a clue.
Gosh. All right. Well, what is it?
So for any of those who were guessing, I am covering cannibals in the national park.
Ew.
Have you heard about this on TikTok and
No,
stuff?
I haven't.
All right. So yeah, like I've been hearing it more so I think on TikTok than anywhere, but I would say it's more of like an internet urban legend at this point that
Okay.
there's a possibility that there could be groups of cannibals who live in the national park without anybody really knowing of their existence
Well,
unless
if you
you're.
had camping in mind, guys,
So yeah,
maybe don't listen to this episode.
I mean, with it being such a beautiful time of year, this is when you're hitting up all the national parks, right? So it's perfect time to hear this story because there might be more than bears that you need to be worried about. There's
Right.
going
It's
to
like,
be
I'm cool with the
men, there's
bear.
going to be cannibals. So that's the real question. Do we all still choose the bear? I think we do.
Mhm.
Um, so yeah. So before we get into this wild internet story or theory people entertain, let's thank our sources. So first of all, thank you unilad.com, knoxnews.com, as in Knoxville, because we will be talking about the Smoky
Hey,
Mountains,
Knoxville.
and pathloom.com were my primary resources.
All right.
Yes. So there have been some alleged claims made that maybe there are some feral cannibal groups
Feral cannibals.
inhabiting our national park systems.
Okay.
So while I love national parks and state parks, I think they're awesome. Thank you, Teddy Roosevelt, for thinking to do that. And they can be kind of eerie, though. So, I mean, right off the bat, whenever I was researching this topic, we could just talk about morbid facts about national park systems. I stumbled upon actually a beautiful dashboard. That's what I do for a living. So I was pleased. So great job, whoever works at the Department of the Interior. You did a very nice dashboard. I went to nps.gov and they have a mortality database on all of the national parks.
So before
And
you go, but let me check the mortality database before we decide to go to Yellowstone this year, guys, or wherever.
yeah, so this is just gonna be a warm up to the national park. So while you're
Okay.
like, wandering around enjoying the views and beautiful scenery, there's also a dark side to it. A lot of people do perish in national parks. But don't worry, it's not more than national average, which I don't know if that makes you feel better or worse. Um, so this database looks at mortality data. It is going from 2014 to 2019. I think they do like 5 to 6 year spans. So
Okay.
this is 2014 to 2019 data. That's the latest they have on the site.
Probably some new stats coming up later this year, maybe.
Yeah, I'm curious to see like next time they release it.
Pandemic. Yeah.
So straight from the website, the following list provides key findings from the mortality data analysis. Out of 420 plus national parks, 177 reported one or more deaths in the last 6 years. Doesn't seem too bad, right?
Not too bad.
An average of 358 deaths a year were reported in this 6 year period, or 7 deaths a week. That
Oh,
sounds a
that sounds a
little
lot.
more, right?
Yeah.
Um, in 2019, the NPS mortality rate was 0.11 deaths per 100,000, compared to the 715 deaths per 100,000 for the overall US population. So, I mean, that's a lot less than the national
Yeah, that's hardly
average.
anything, really.
But I think it's unnerving that people are like, oh, yeah, there's a possibility at all, right?
Yeah, but yeah, for sure.
And not surprisingly, most deaths, 79%, occur among males. Uh,
Okay.
More than half of all deaths, 52%, occur among people ages 45 and older, actually.
That's okay.
So that's kind of surprising. It's not the young
Yeah.
little bucks being silly. It's probably
Yeah,
like,
I was kind of thinking it would be like teenagers doing something stupid, like, watch me jump off this cliff.
yeah, it's actually 45 plus.
Okay.
Half of all reported deaths are due to unintentional causes. So I guess that can make you feel somewhat better that
Intentional causes. So it's like, I didn't, like maybe you had a heart attack. You're like, oh, I shouldn't have taken this, or
yeah. Oh, it sounds like motor vehicle crashes, drownings, and falls are the top three leading causes. So it's things
drownings
like
and
that.
falls. Okay.
Yes, I think a lot of people rafting, so when doing kayaking, so there's a real danger in some of that stuff.
Whitewater's dangerous, man.
Um, Half of medical deaths occur while the individual was engaged in a physical activity, so like hiking, biking, swimming. So I think a lot of these are probably cardio related.
Yeah.
But this was interesting. Suicides account for 93% of all reported intentional deaths. So I guess there's that 7% that are intentional but not suicides. So there's
Oh,
that. So yes, there's a lot you can dig into on the NPS site, like with classifications of the types of deaths and all sorts of
hmm.
morbid stuff if you're into that. So
Who
yeah,
knew?
so I guess that alone, whenever you are maybe in a really vast open place like some of these national parks, maybe can kind of seep into your mind and make you a little bit uneasy, right? Like
For sure.
there's
Well, we
not
were
zero
thinking,
potential of death, but it's still
I'm
pretty low.
always more uneasy out in nature than I am in the city.
Yeah,
Like
it's
I'm
odd.
like there is such a peaceful, like don't get me wrong, there's such a peacefulness, like right, like going on a hike, being in nature, but it's also a little eerie too. Like there's an eerie side to it. It's just like, what if something happens to me? Like is anybody gonna, like you sometimes your cell phone doesn't work. You don't always see another hiker or someone out there. Like what if you do fall off of a cliff? Like, yeah, it's a little, I don't know. I get a little nervous.
Yeah, yeah, it can be a little unnerving if you think about it too much, like how completely alone you are, right?
Right,
The isolation's just kind of scary in and of itself. And
for
then
sure.
the possibility of, like an accident happening that takes you out.
Yeah.
It's a real thing. And then just looking at some of these national parks, which we're gonna spend probably the most time talking about the Smoky Mountains.
Oh, great.
In this case,
I'm doing a race there next year.
well, more motivation to run. You better run fast. So, but just to kind of, because there's also like, you know, anyway, let's just look. So the Great Smoky Mountains, approximately 10 to 15 deaths per year. Grand Canyon National Park, around 12 to 15 per year. Yosemite, roughly 5 to 10. Yellowstone, 3 to 5. Rocky Mountain National Park, 5 to 7. So a
For about,
handful. You know what I
yeah, that's
mean?
still, yeah.
So that's already unnerving, and then you also have missing people. So those are the people that we know have perished in the parks, and then there's tons of people who have just gone missing without a
That
trace.
scares me big time. That's where it
And
gets real weird.
I think this is where people's imaginations can run away with them a bit, and I think it's these missing people that kind of spark where cannibals come
Okay,
from,
might or might not. Yeah.
right? So let's just hear out what people are theorizing about missing people. Personally, people who go completely missing, I find that completely, one, shocking. I'm like, how is that even possible? And two, terrifying. It's like, really, what
Especially
happened
in
to them?
today's time, right? Like we're connected to so many things now. Like how do you just vanish?
Yeah. And then it's like, I don't know if they are missing. I'm like, do we hope they're alive or not? Depending on what's happening to them, right? It's just a
Right.
whole nother thing of worry.
Whole nother
Missing people
level.
are more, I guess, just a consistent worry because you don't know where they are or
Are
what
they
happened to them.
okay? Are they being tortured? Like, where are they? Yeah, I
Right.
can't even imagine that extra layer of unsettling that you would feel.
Yeah, so let's just look at the Great Smoky Mountain National Park. So
Let me
yeah,
text my friend real quick. But I don't think I can do
just
this
right
right.
in,
Thank you very much.
Sarah's backyard. Um,
Yeah. Doc
so
Martens too.
yeah, so five people are known to have vanished without any explanation at uh
Dear.
the Great Smoky Mountain National Park. Even allegedly, the U.S. Army Elite Special Forces tried to help find these people, and just there's no trace of them. They cannot find these people at all. So then I think that starts to lead people with, all right, well,
Are they?
there's no people and there's no trace. What could have happened? But let's get
Mm.
into the missing people first. So, I mean, it's pretty steady from 1969 to the most recent in 2012. June 14th, 1969, Dennis Lloyd Martin, he's 6 years old. He disappeared while on a camping trip with his family, and they've never found him.
Can
No
you
idea what happened to him.
imagine? Oh my God.
Yeah, and then October 8th, 1976, Teresa Trenny Lynn Gibson, 16 years old, disappears while on a high school field trip. I mean, she's there with her peers, just completely disappears. Never found. Nobody knows what happened to her. September 25th. Um, I don't know what year this is. I think it's 1981, but I have a typo. I'm pretty sure it's 81, not 2,981. September 25th, 1981, Thelma Pauline Melton, 58-year-old, went missing while hiking with two friends around Deep Creek Campground. Um, I wanted to note in her case that she was actually quite familiar with the trails and had hiked this area many times. So there's really not much of a likelihood that she just got lost.
Yeah,
And whenever she went missing, she was with her friends. She did walk a little bit further ahead of them, and then they just lost sight of her and never found her.
that's
So they have
crazy.
no idea what happened to her, and she wasn't that far from them.
So far, none of these people have been out here alone,
Yeah,
which
that's
is even
that
more
that's
crazy.
pretty weird, right? And little Dennis, like he's with his family for crying out loud. Teresa's with a high school field trip, tons of other
Yes,
students. And yeah, Pauline, she's with her two friends.
friends.
And I think she might even have a dog. I feel like I might have heard that as a side note. I'm not really sure. Don't quote me on that. But yeah, none of them are alone. None of them seem to be in
But you
any
can't
like
be like, well,
dangerous
don't
kind of
go out
setting.
there alone. Like, well, we didn't.
Yeah, and then the next two I don't find as mysterious. I think this is just more trying to make it seem like a bigger list of missing than there actually are.
Mm,
But April 27th, 2011, Christopher Lee Cessna or Kesna, I'm not sure, 45-year-old was reported missing by his family, and his car was found by park officials at the Newfound Gap parking area. But the thing about him, though, is they suspect suicide because his family reported that he had been depressed, and there's still a missing gun of his to this day. So they're assuming maybe he took the gun with him and
gotcha.
maybe the gun's still with him. So I find that one suspicious of not being
So
missing.
sad.
But he's
Yeah.
still missing nonetheless.
Right.
March 15th, 2012, Derek Luking, 24. His car was also found in the same location, Newfound Gap parking lot, and there was a handwritten note on his dash asking for no one to search for him. So that one's still kind of suspicious of
That's creepy
suicide, some sort of foul play potentially.
for
I don't
sure.
know if it's necessarily just a missing person like the other three, but still, never found, still
Ugh.
missing to this day. And that's just the Great Smoky Mountains National Park. There's tons of these all over the country. Yosemite National Park alone has over 30 unsolved missing persons cases. So people go missing in these parks all the time. And it just adds to the, creepy factor of the national park, especially at night, in my opinion.
Yes.
Um, okay, so now we have like a list of missing people, right? And then it's kind of like, how did they leap to cannibals, though? Right?
Yeah.
Has,
How do we go there?
so I think some of that is where the internet kind of comes in. Podcasters like us, potentially, TikTok people, theories on social media. I don't think we can find a clean line of how we've jumped to cannibals. All I can say is that we're there now, and this might be some of the things that influence this idea. One was a book called Missing 411. This was written by a former police officer and investigator named David, I think it's Politis, is how you say his last name. He released several books and one documentary on the subject titled Missing 411. And this series chronicled many disappearances that he investigated throughout his career. And a lot of these places included the national parks.
Hmm.
Um, and none really like offered any plausible like explanation for these people's
Right.
disappearances when he was looking for them. So, um, one article that was covered with David and about his series is he focused on the mysterious disappearances in the national parks, and one notable case was actually Dennis Martin. Remember the 6-year-old boy, the first
Right.
one that went
First
missing?
one.
So I guess he was looking into this, and this kid supposedly vanished during a game of hide and seek with his family
Oh no,
in
that's even
1969.
creepier.
Right. I think that's important, though, to understand what they were doing at the time. And despite search efforts, including finding children's footprints near a stream, no concrete explanation or evidence was found. And another case, there was a 2-year-old, Keith Parkins, who was found unconscious 12 miles away from his grandfather's ranch in Oregon, in Umatilla. National Forest. I don't know that one.
Yeah.
Which raised questions about how the heck this person got so far, this 2-year-old got so far away. So like those are just some examples of two of the cases where he was like, I don't understand how this happened. Uh,
Yeah.
Still, we aren't quite at the cannibals yet. And then, it kind of just raises like an ambiguous question, I guess I would say. He's like, what happened? So he kind of starts poking, like, well, what could have possibly happened? And how the heck did this kid get this far away? And then you have, for instance, like Black Mass Paranormal Podcast. I don't know where one of the hosts, Brian Jeffrey, got like what his sources are. I've never listened to the show. I'm just, he was listed in some of my references. Um, he kind of takes it a step further. So he talks about the special forces troops and how they found zero trace of the little boy. Talking about Dennis, the same kid that's kind of perplexing the guy that wrote Missing 411. Um, and apparently, he says that some of these troops that were looking for the little boy actually encountered feral people.
Okay.
Now right, that's kind of a game changer, I
Yeah.
guess, as potential like who are these people?
Right.
I couldn't find any other mention of that in my research of people actually having eyewitness accounts or encounters with feral people that can be documented.
Right.
It's more
Yeah.
so just personal anecdotes. So I don't know. He alleges that some of the troops said that they encountered feral people in this area. And on his podcast, he claimed this group of feral people had been known to have cannibalistic tendencies. Brian also claimed that 20 years after that child, Dennis, went missing in the 60s, a feral man was captured around that same area where the child went missing. And while being held in an asylum, he revealed his identity. I don't, he didn't disclose who this person was. And I find a lot of this questionable.
Yeah.
We can unpack that later with, anyway, I'm just reporting. So allegedly, they've even found a feral person that they, have captured.
Okay.
And Brian claimed, quote, recently there has been an increase in reports of these people. Quote, they are supposedly known to set traps to capture lone hikers in the mountains. Quote, they have targeted the elderly and children specifically. So I don't know if he's truly the source, but obviously social media, he's kind of running with the idea of could it possibly be cannibals that are
Okay.
snatching these people? And then you have a few TikTokers, of course, as well. So, for instance, TikToker Chronicles of Olivia. She posted a video detailing like her experience in Lena Lake in Washington State. She claims that she found some humanoid footprints like in a really like remote top of a mountain kind of place where she climbed and raised the question of like what are these, are these maybe feral humanoid creatures? Is the government hiding this? All sorts of stuff like that. Like, are these cryptids? Are these
Always the
wild
government.
people? Is this some sort of new species? And then also, like, another TikToker claimed to hear like blood curdling screams. And, it's just
Mm.
going on with all these personal anecdotes now, like on social media, people claiming that they've witnessed something strange, or heard weird sounds, or even saw something. And then the latest thing on top of this that I've been hearing on TikTok is related to missing people. Is some are even saying, I don't know if they're saying they're cannibals, but they're saying like what if it's tied to the cave systems that are underneath the national parks, and they're like taking maps of where people have gone missing in the parks and overlaying them on top of the cave systems, and they seem to match up almost perfectly. uh,
Ooh.
we can definitely talk about that towards the end on if we think that that's more sinister than what it is. Did they just fall, or are they being snatched by people maybe who live in the caves? I think is what they're getting at. So that's where the internet's running away with this. um, and then I guess it comes down to are you a believer or critic? Some of the explanations for people in the camp of maybe these are feral people, at least when it comes to the Great Smokies. I'm not sure about other regions, but there's like they think that with the Smoky Mountain cannibals potentially, they were deserters of the Civil War and
Oh,
had
geez.
families out in these
Oh,
parks, and now they're like wild, feral, cannibal descendants of Civil War deserters. Okay. And then a lot of the critics, though, especially locals, they just think it's like harmful stereotypes, kind of saying we're Appalachian people and you just think we're a bunch of monsters that are like cannibals. So they
yeah,
just think it's kind of not nice.
I
Um,
can see that.
lore around like making fun of stereotypes about them. And they also attribute all of these alleged screams of like wildlife around there. So a lot of locals, when they watch these TikToks or hear these things, they're like, "We hear that stuff all the time. It's bobcats. It's this. It's that." So they don't seem alarmed by some of the things that other people are posting as, "Oh, someone's being attacked."
Yeah.
So that's kind of where we land on. We truly do have deaths and missing people in national parks. That goes without the saying, but it's what's causing it. I think it's the big question. So after that, I guess, do we believe there are cannibals in the national parks? One thing
I
I
mean,
think is a separate question is it possible versus are there?
you know, I would like to think that there are not, but I do think there's a lot of crazy people in the world.
Yeah.
And I think that a lot can happen in national parks. And the reason why too is like, I guess like I I'm really into this case. Like there are some cases that really just like suck me in. And I don't know if you've heard of the Micah Miller case, but she supposedly committed suicide in a national park. Supposedly.
Mhm.
So I do think that, I think a lot can happen there, right? There could be a lot of sinister things that can happen in a park. But I don't know, like, about, and I'm not saying there has never been a cannibal that has like gotten someone, and that couldn't be a true case for some of the cases. But I think as far as like having a group of these people living in a park, feeding off people, there's just really not enough evidence for me
Yeah.
to 100% buy that. I think that you also have to consider like the animals, the falls. A lot of that water moves fast. And I think about drowning. I think about things like that too, and I
Yeah.
kind of think about just kidnappers in general, like possibly trying to, get kids alone. Like, if that kid was playing hide and seek or something like that, and there could be somebody out there that did snatch up the kid. And I'm not saying they ate him,
But yeah,
but
it
there
could have
could
been
have been some foul
snatched.
play. I think that some of these people could be victim to foul play in the parks.
Yeah.
But I don't know that I'm really buying like this whole group of cannibals out there like living off of people. Like,
Yeah, like I buy that it's possible there might be really small family size, one or two. I mean, like that small,
yeah,
who have somehow always been living in those woods before they were national parks and they're just still there. But I doubt people even know it, and I doubt they're even interacting with people. They're probably just living their lives like wild people
yeah.
and keeping to themselves.
No, I do think the cave thing is interesting just in general. Not saying that like that's where these people are or like this is where this colony lives, but I do think that is fascinating. Like what is in those caves? Like how do they connect? Like that is
Yeah,
really cool in itself.
and
Um,
it kind of gets into, and I love that it takes place in North Carolina too. Like one of my favorite scary movies, The Descent. Those ladies come from like the UK to go cave exploring in North Carolina and discover creatures down there. They attack them, and it's
yeah.
brutal. I'm like, that is a creepy notion, and I think this plays at that really well. My assumption though with the cave systems is people are falling like just through like a
Yeah.
shaft, like because you don't really know where a lot of these paths are, like sinkholes too. Like I think maybe people are falling into these caves and you just can't find them.
Yeah. Or like what even terrifies me even more is like what if they do hear you and you can't hear them and they end up dying just because they starve or get dehydrated. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's scary.
Yeah, I
Uh,
mean, who knows? And if you fall certain ways and get stuck, like I don't know.
exactly. I just think that it's scary out there, you guys. I mean, there's anything could happen out there in the wilderness. Like you said, like animals, like falls, like you said, I don't know, like but I can't say I'm on that camp of this family of this group of people that are just going out to eat people. Like,
Yeah,
I just, oh,
specifically with the case of Dennis Lloyd Martin, I think an important fact is that they were playing hide and seek.
yeah,
Because I'm like, when else would you not be really found? You know what I mean? Like out of
that is
eyesight as a 6-year-old in a
horrible.
national park. But if he was hiding, what if he found a really good hiding spot to like something that made him fall down a cave or something like
Right.
that? Like
That's
that's what I'm
terrifying.
assuming. Um, yeah, there's nothing compelling to me that it's cannibals, but to the same point, I can't prove that. Well, I don't think any of these missing people are related to that at all. I don't know. There's no way we could really know if there are feral people, cannibals or not, actually living in the
Right.
national parks. Like we don't,
Yeah.
how would you possibly know that? There's some of them are so big. Like there's
Oh,
no
yeah.
way. Like the Ozarks alone. I totally think there could be people living in the Ozarks and no one would be any the wiser at
Right.
all.
Yeah, it's scary to me. Like park scary. Like honestly, national like nature being out in the wilderness like that terrifies me actually. I mean, because it is so vast, right? I mean, and it's so easy to get lost too. Like, where you're talking about like earlier about the 2-year-old that went like 12 miles. I can see how you could easily go for miles and miles. And sometimes things look alike too. And you don't think you're that far. And then you have gone that far and you're like, I don't know where the hell I am. And it's just this huge thing. And I don't know. It just, and I think about that episode, the very first episode, Are You Afraid of the Dark? Remember when the brothers go out camping in the wilderness and
Hmm.
like, was it Dr. Beck? He's a cannibal living out there in the wilderness.
Yeah, I mean, seriously, like,
He wanted
I don't
brains.
know.
So, I mean, I'm not saying there's not some crazy person out there, but I just think saying that like the blanket statement of like, oh, this is where what happened to every missing person. I'm like,
Yeah, or even most or many, I think is kind of a stretch. I
I
mean,
do too.
I think it's the thing that is a compelling theory about it though, I think is the lack of any evidence of the people. It's like they got eaten bones and all, right? Like there's just no
Yeah,
trace
like
of
where is
them.
there any kind of evidence? Like, and how would you find it really? Was you think about all the people that do visit the parks, like how would you even go about sealing off a perimeter to even search for remains of somebody that supposedly got eaten? You know what I mean? Like it's just
Yeah. And even if you did come across remains that looked like they were
human.
eaten, like how would you, I would assume they got attacked by wildlife other
Yeah, I
than the
mean,
cannibal.
there's a lot out there. Yeah, you're on their
So
turf.
I don't know. There was nothing I found as like hard evidence other than this case of Black Mass Paranormal Podcast saying that there were alleged encounters. That's the only thing that seems sticky, but it's still really loosey goosey to me when it comes to
Yeah,
personal
like
accounts.
I would like to like hear more about those accounts, and how did they get away from these people? And
Yeah, and it's like, okay, so the military could just walk up and interact with them. They didn't get eaten. Like, why would
yeah,
you assume? Like, how do you know
because
they're cannibals?
yeah, like what if they're just wilderness people?
Yeah, so
Have lived on the land.
I think a lot of more skeptical people think that it's just people hating on people living on traditional lives, like out in the woods,
Yeah. Well, I mean,
essentially.
but that whole Appalachia way of life, it's so primitive anyway.
Yeah, I mean,
It doesn't mean that they're cannibals. Like
exactly. I think they just maybe live very like
they just,
rugged.
yeah, they're just more, yeah. I mean, I agree. And but I was like, it doesn't mean they eat people. It's like,
Yeah, so I don't know.
I think it's a little icky.
I'm leaning towards there are probably more feral-like people and communities out in some of these really remote places, but that doesn't make them cannibals.
Right.
I just don't see any evidence of that.
Scary out
What is
there.
as far as the possibility of people living wildly in the national parks, I think it's possible personally.
That for sure. Well, and not only that, I think especially now, and it's going to be really interesting, since it's illegal to be homeless now, thanks to our friends at the Supreme Court. It's going to be interesting to see how that
Place,
changes.
yeah.
Like, will rangers now have to monitor that and be like, oh, you're going to get sanctioned or go to jail because you can't live on this in this forest? Like, how is that going to play
Yeah.
out?
And like I don't even
'Cause
think rangers I don't even think they can arrest people. Like I don't even know what they can do.
how is that going to happen? And then it's like I mean, I can see where people do live in these parks, because maybe they don't have homes. They can't afford to live in
Yeah,
civilization. Maybe they don't want to live in civilization
that
either.
too,
You
like,
know what I
right?
mean?
Some people just
Um,
want to be the natural animal. I think that they,
and that's their
other people
choice,
want to be more socialized.
yeah. And I don't think that makes you an
Cannibal
evil
or
person.
bad
Yeah.
person.
But I do think you do run into some sinister stuff out there. I have a friend that's a backpacker and she actually has done some of the Appalachian by herself. Like you
Mhm.
talk about a brave woman. I mean, and not only just for people that you can encounter, but just like wildlife and just, like
Snakes,
like
like
the
venomous
fall.
snakes. Yeah,
Oh, speaking of
slipping.
snakes, guys, guess what happened to me?
Oh no.
So most of you who know me know that I'm terrified of snakes. Like I have a phobia. Like I can't deal. So I did my third ultra marathon, and it's like speaking of parks, Andrew Jackson State Park. It is like out, middle of nowhere, and I'm running with two of my friends, and it looked like a shoelace, like tied, like circled up on the street, and
Oh.
my foot literally almost hit it. It was a damn king snake curled up, and I thought I was going to lose my shit.
Well, at least those are non-venomous, but still,
Yeah, but nonetheless, it scared the shit out of me. My
ugh.
heart rate was like,
Yeah, gives you
but
the
I mean, because
willies.
they're just there, and yeah, like I just think that, you can encounter all kinds of scary stuff out there. People, there probably are some people out there that, you should stay clear of as well. But um, I don't know, guys, the parks kind of freak me out. Like, there's a whole podcast and whole stories just with like spooky shit that happens in parks, alone.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah.
It's terrifying.
It's
I
almost
don't know.
like if
I'm
you
vacationing in the city. I'm a city slicker.
aren't in a national park for fun, I'm assuming you're there for something sinister. Like, why else would you be there? So really, that already
Yeah.
is not odds. I'm like, you're either also a person that's wanting to camp, or you're gonna try to kill me in my sleep. That's
Yeah.
great.
I don't, and again, it almost seems like it's humans that fucking ruin that too. It's like, you should be afraid of bears and things like that. But it's like, no, I got to worry about some crazy ass person out here up to no good. I'm trying to be in
Yeah,
nature.
my
I was
own
like, I think
species
sometimes
tries
we
to
think
take me
about
out.
the animals and we don't think about people. Like, great, I could get attacked out here in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah, that's.
Scary. It's a
I
scary
usually
thought.
think about people first,
Smart.
then animals. I'm like, what? We have our knives, we have our hatchet. Like,
Yeah,
we're
it's
good. Oh, coyotes. I'm not worried about them.
like, oh, it's just coyote. It's fine. But
They're just
that
gonna
predator
holler and run
there,
off.
I'm a little scared of him.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know, man. I like to vacation in like New York for a reason. I go to that jungle.
Well, and isn't that funny? Like the only known cannibals in America have been people like Jeffrey Dahmer who live in cities and societies. So
It's weird. Like I think crazy is everywhere.
yeah, so
It's
I don't
it,
know people. It sounds like the true danger is always humans. So
I
yes,
think that's
there
what
are
it
probably
boils down
dangerous
to.
people in national parks.
Yeah,
I don't know if they're cannibals or not,
I
but
hope
if they are, it
not.
has nothing to do with living in the national park.
Yeah, I just think they would be no matter where they lived, like even if they lived in, a city or suburb.
Exactly.
Oh,
Yeah,
just
well,
when you're packing up your camping stuff, just
so if you
think
just got back from a relaxing trip for the 4th of July, welcome back.
you're
Glad you made
okay.
it.
I hope everything's well for you. Oh,
So
it's
yeah,
very creepy.
take some bear spray for more than the bears if you're
Yeah.
in the Smoky Mountains.
Dang, that is scary. Maybe like don't go to the bathroom alone. Like, did you think about that? People that have to poop and stuff and use the bathroom, like you kind of go off while your friends are waiting for you. You
Hmm.
fall, get attacked.
Sit on a copperhead.
Yeah, you could. It's like, and then you're never seen again.
Yeah,
Like, I just don't, you sit down and you fall. That would be me. I'd be squatting down and I'm like, damn it, I fall to the cave.
like fall down a mountain side.
Oh.
I didn't know there was a cliff. I thought it was a log.
Well, that's what happened in the episode of Are You Afraid of the Dark? Like the little nerdy kid almost falls and his brother has to like grab him.
Yeah,
I'm gonna tell you, I've been rewatching Are You Afraid of the Dark
it
and
sounds like it.
it still stands up to the test of time. I mean, It's
You're
pretty
like, do
sensitive.
you remember from like 1995? You remember? You're saying it like you watched it yesterday because you did. I'm like, I vaguely remember that, yes.
I did. It's true. You're like, okay, I
I'm
remember the
like,
in the woods,
uh,
but I don't remember the details as well as you do.
I don't remember the names of the characters in the one episode.
Oh, I love that show. And it's kind of messed up. Like kids kind of get killed in that show. Some of those shows. I'm like, oh no.
It's so boring. It's like, hey, fuck around and you don't always make it out.
the
Maybe
90s,
listen to your parents.
the 90s were kind of no joke. Like sometimes I'm like, ooh,
They
like
just cut to the chase. Like, yeah, fuck around and find out. If you
they
fuck around, you might die.
yeah, they really did. It's like, oh. So they basically are, I hate to break it to you, but they kind of already covered Cannibals in the Woods in like 1994. They already ran with this theory with their ghost stories. So
Yeah, well.
that was
No, I
already,
took it from TikTok though.
I'm just saying, like the TikTok people, I'm just like, sorry, Gary
Yeah,
already
it's the
covered
same
that.
story, new.
The Midnight
Yeah.
Society already covered that. Okay, you didn't know that.
Yeah. Yeah, that's true. Like a lot of these are the same story, just online now in like a digital era. It's like, oh,
Actually, why does this
okay.
sound familiar? Oh yeah.
Oh, the text was coming from in the house.
All you needed to learn was on Snake.
It's like I put on their GPS location and it's upstairs. Oh my God.
Yeah. Yep, that's right. I mean, we learned so much from shows like Are You Afraid of the Dark and Goosebumps.
Mm-hmm.
That was a really chilling story, and it definitely does not make me want to go camping. And it makes me want to be like, y'all want to find another runner? That Smoky Mountain Relay? Because I don't know about that.
More motivation.
I was like, that'll be the fastest I ever ran. I'm like,
Watch
wow,
out for those traps.
right? I'm like, oh God, I don't
Yeah.
know. Stomach's feeling a little uneasy.
Yeah, just watch your step. But with that delightful topic, should we see what we're covering next time?
Let's do it.
All right. Let's spin the wheel. Oh, did I not share it?
You're like staring at me. I'm like,
Sorry, they just changed the some
oh, we
of
have
the
confetti now.
yeah, apparently they just changed a lot
Hey.
with Zoom as well. Anyway, are you cool with cryptid?
I'm cool with cryptid.
All right,
I was
cool.
like, I'm a winner, and I didn't even see it spin.
Cryptids are fun. We haven't done one of those in a while.
Cryptids are always fun. They always make me happy. I feel safer with a cryptid than a human.
Yeah, I like
I'll take
them.
my chances. I'll take my chances with a cryptid any day.
JD is our homeboy.
We love some JD.
Trademark. We need some merch that says JD is my homeboy.
JD is my homeboy, 100%. And I'm really excited. Like, I might have to head up to like Norman and check out Stormy Normie. I'm like, obviously, Stormy Normie would be a friend of the pod.
Very appropriate for the show.
Very appropriate.
Maybe he'll be one of our guests one of these days.
I'll see what I can do. See what I can try to make happen for us.
Mm-hmm.
Adele, that was a great story. Thank you so much. So yeah, if you have any camping plans, guys, be careful out there.
Just
as
watch your step.
Watch your step. As we say on our podcast here, stay safe out there, friends.
Stay curious.
And never trust a fall. Or if you're after 40, a fart.
Oh, yeah.
That is the truth.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not even 40 yet, but still,
don't do it.
It's
it
a
never
real
ends well. Stay safe out there, friends. Have a great summer. Stay hydrated.
Later, taters.